Morning, and joining me now is Assistant Town Manager Mark Ells. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. One thing I wanted to ask you about e-permitting. How are we doing on the timeline for e-permitting, and when can we expect that process to be complete?
Well, thanks for having me. And e-permitting, we are on our schedule, and our schedule really is a 4-phase schedule where we've purchased the software, we began to develop the software and then transport the data that we have from our departments, munis information, assessing information. Right now the main focus is building information. All of that's progressed well, so we're ending our 3rd phase, which means that the data's been transported over. It's working. At this point, we're looking at doing some major training in October with staff, and we've had a lot of discussions going on with the consultant, and the software we're using is Viewpoint. And it's best that once we do the true bulk of the training, that from that point on, our staff is using the system. So we didn't want to do it too early. We could have done it anywhere since since January, quite honestly. But it's best to do it now, just before you go live behind the system, is the way they call it, which is us using it. So that'll happen in October. We're going to be utilizing the system in November and December internally, and really starting to look at how to make sure that we are communicating, because a computer system, like any system, is only it's as good as the information you put in, and it's as good as the people who are using it. So we have good information, we have good people, so now the info's in, and now we're making sure that our people behind the system are in communication. This is a fairly large change from the way that we used to do it. It used to be done to a certain degree separately in each division and department, even though they overlapped in many cases. So this should help us be more efficient in answering our customers' questions. But internally, it means we have to change. And the very positive thing that came out of this, because you never really know how change is going to go, and our staff has really stepped up, embraced this at 200 Main Street. Rich Scally, all the division heads, all of the support staff have just done a great job in wanting to understand it and wanting to use it. The inspectors in our building department are going to have tablets now, so this just isn't a system sitting on a desk that the manager and the administrative staff are going to use. This goes right down to the people in the field. And it just makes sense to do it all that way, because we are truly trying to transform the way that we make our permits available. Now, from the customer side, by early next year, it's planned to go live, and we're on schedule. We haven't seen, if we deviate from that, we're going to let everybody know, but right now we still look good. We're going to plan to invite in some of the big commercial users, because we can just look at who pulls the bulk of the permits. And then we will also do additional training for the smaller users and the residential users. Like if I want to pull a express permit to add a new railing on my deck or something. We can do it through tutorials online, we can do it through your show or some sort of supplement to the show. We can do it face-to-face. I mean, sometimes you just need to do things face-to-face with people. Right. We'll probably have terminals right on the counter so that somebody can come in, and maybe it's a great training opportunity if they came in to fill it out by paper, which they'll still be able to do, but if you can train them online, then next time they're good to go. So I know that'll take up time, but we'll provide the staff to make sure that we can accommodate our customers.
I would think too, using it, making sure you spend that several month period where the staff are really getting to know it and the staff are using it behind the scenes before launching it to the public, it would seem that that would probably be a really good time to minimize any customer problems when you do finally launch it to the public, just because staff may catch some things that, some quirks or some things that need worked out, and those might be able to be, fine-tuned before the full launch.
And it's already happening that way. And again, we were very pleased that the staff, management on down, stepped right up and embraced this and see the value of it for them as well as the customer. And it's really a real positive change, and we've heard over time from our council, from our customers, residential and business, that at times they were confused with our permitting processes. And rightly so, I think that it can be confusing, especially if you're not doing it on a regular basis. So, in parallel with this, our 200 Main Street staff, by their own initiative, they actually came to us with the recommended program, which is really a customer-based private sector sort of customer service program. And really a communication improvement program. Identified this to us. Our division heads, department heads, human resources looked at it and said, yeah, this would be great. So we're going to be doing some major customer service training and communication training over at 200 Main Street in October as well. So we're going to be doing the e-permitting and that training so that this change can really not only change technically how you get a permit, but the way that we provide service to our customers. And that's really important going forward. And Rich Scally and Joanne Buntich, and with the help of people like Bill Cole, and certainly the support of Tom and I, continue to move it in that direction, and the employees are on board. So we're excited. We think this is going to be implemented, like we say, the first of next year. We're going to give our staff the support they need to do it correctly, and to have a whole toolbox of new skills, not only to interact with the public, but interact with each other to make sure that, when there's something that isn't working right, they know how to communicate to get it corrected so that we can deliver that service the way we want to do it.
It sounds like it might also make the system, e-permitting system might make it a little easier for departments to sort of find information across departments.
Yes.
and make things a little more efficient, hopefully in the long run, taking some stress off of employees that may be overworked and trying to deal with too many things at once.
Absolutely. We hope that's the case. But we're going to be getting feedback from our employees as well as our customers so that we know where the glitches are. I mean, the good thing about having a very qualified and experienced consultant is they've done this before, and they can say to us, well, this is where you're probably going to see some issues, and you want to make sure you have the right resources in the right place as you move forward. So that's, we expect to be successful in both efforts, to improve customer service and allowing our customers to use the e-permitting. So very exciting going into 2016 at 200 Main Street, and I expect it'll all go well.
Wonderful. And let's talk a little bit about communication in general for the town. If someone's watching and they have questions, where should they go for, I know that they may have lots of different questions, but typically where would you send residents who have some concerns about any issue in town?
Well, we have many avenues now through social media. There's that whole world that allows for communication. You can still write us a letter. You can still call us on a telephone, and for the most part, you will get a live human being to answer your questions. You can email us. We don't take a lot of communications by text from the outside, mainly because there'd just be so many numbers flying around. We on our side, though, do need to track these issues, concerns, questions when they come in. And in many departments, there are complaint tracking or permit tracking systems in place, and it's very important that we know the status of it once it comes in. And if there's an area where we may fall down, it is getting back to people when you've done it, but now you still need to let them know in case it isn't like in front of their house and they can see that the pothole's been filled. And so we really need to make sure that we do the follow-up. And any of those means face-to-face. I mean, still, especially if it's a problem, don't ever be afraid. I have people say to me all the time, I didn't want to bother you. That's why we're here.
Yeah, do a lot of people come up at the grocery store?
Yes. But that's
Say,
okay.
"Hey, Mark."
You know what? When you're in a public service job at this level, especially, that's what you're there for. And you know, there's positives of being in the community where you work. You certainly are invested there, and you know the issues there, and you're part of it. One of the other sides of that is that people come up to you in the grocery store and they'll want to talk about things. But you know what? That's okay. That's why we're here.
Wonderful. So glad to hear that there's an open door policy upstairs.
Oh, absolutely. Always.
Upstairs. Anything else you want to bring up today?
No, I think I'm excited about the upcoming year. We're in budget cycle right now, and
A never-ending
looking at
process.
our budgets. We had, I mean, Mark Milne, I'm sure will report out on this, but a very positive year as far as met all of our projections, stayed within all of the revenue projections, stayed within all of our operating budgets. We have a lot of capital going. You'll see roads, and you'll see drainage and water and all sorts of projects going on out there right now. Very busy time of the year for us because we try to contain that certainly between 4th of July and Labor Day. We're always looking, we always go through like a post-audit from the season. We look at our facilities, we look at the services we provide. We have internal discussions to coincide with our budget process so we can say, how can we do this better? What else do we need? Knowing that we have resource constraints, but that's okay. And so we always have those discussions, and then in about 30 days we'll be getting ready for next year, and we'll be well into the budget by October. And then really that is a very consuming process in the sense that it's one of the priorities, certainly the town manager and I know it is for our town council every year, to come forward with certainly a balanced budget, and our finance director does a fabulous job both on the expense and revenue side in guiding us. So we're very lucky.
Yeah, all that hard work pays off with that AAA bond rating that the town of Barnstable has.
Absolutely, but it's a lot of hard work by our staff. They do a great job. So.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for stopping by. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And look forward to chatting with you again in the near future.
Okay.
Mark Ells is the Assistant Town Manager for Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Mantle.